Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mayday Media. Got an important little story here. Like and subscribe, please, if you will. Try to get this out. This is kind of just another breach of your privacy. I want to let you know I'm not a tech person, but I am a privacy person. And this is just another way to get your privacy. It's an important article. You just can't really trust any companies nowadays, man. And thank God that there's good people out there that are still pointing this stuff out and able to do that. And I've got a fishy feeling in 10 to 20 years from now we ain't going to have these type of people around anymore. Sorry to tell you, I think they're going to be an old school that dies off, especially with this AI trash. But I'm going to hit a few articles and we're going to go over some comments, and the comments are pretty sharp. Here we go. Kirkpatrick, a self-described privacy-conscious Linux hobbyist who first reported the change, was installing a new operating system on his machine running a Ryzen 7 9700X from the Zen 5 architecture. To confirm that all his security protection were enabled, he ran a host security ID, HSI, and an auditing feature that evaluates a system's firmware and hardware security configurations. To his surprise, the HSI reported that the TSME was no longer supported, even though he had enabled it in his BIOS settings all along. The contradiction sent him searching for answers. His first instinct was to reach out to MSI, his motherboard's manufacturer, but the company didn't initially provide a definitive explanation. He also filed a bug report on AMD's public engineering GitHub repository, where two AMD engineers eventually responded. An AMD fellow software engineer and a senior principal software engineer. I'm not going to name their names. Interesting, neither engineer appeared to have a clear answer for why these features had disappeared. Their advice was basically the same: disable and re-enable the option in BIOS. And if that didn't work, take it up with the motherboard manufacturer, making it clear that people directly at AMD were just as in the dark as the user reporting it. It was only after this that Kilpatrick pressed SMI harder, eventually convincing its engineers to run a controlled test. They found that consumer Ryzen chips had TSME enabled under an older firmware version, but showed that it's not supported under the new one, AGESA 1.2.7.0, while Pro version of the CPU supported the feature regardless of the firmware or motherboard used. So the Pro version does use the TSME, while the non-Pro version with the new firmware doesn't. Okay. This leaves a big question on whether AMD deliberately restricted TSME to its Pro chips or whether the change was an accidental regression. A firmware bug introduced that newer AGE version. Either way, the silicon appears to have been capable of running the feature. The difference is whether users are looking at a bug that AMD should fix or a quiet product segmentation decision that AMD has not properly explained. Well, yeah, exactly. What is it? He took these MSA findings back to AMD engineers and reassumed the discussion. 6 weeks later, MSA product marketing team, he reported, had been told directly by AMD that TSME is exclusively supported on Pro Series processors. He also relied MSI's test results, and the AGESA flag controls whether the TSME activates during boot returned false on consumer chips regardless of the BIOS setting, but true on Pro processors when the feature was enabled. So basically, if you can't afford the Pro, then you're going to have to worry about all your privacy being, well, it's going to take snapshots every 2 seconds. Kilpatrick then brought up something especially awkward. He reminded Lendacky of a comment that the engineer had made back in 2020, confirming that Ryzen 37X, a consumer CPU, should support TSME, and a later 2025 comment in the same discussion again recommended using TSME. So the guys that he was talking to recommended using TSME, but they're not using them, at least on the new non-Pro version with the new updated firmware, apparently is how it goes. To be fair to AMD, there is no clear indication that the company ever publicly advertised TSME as a consumer Ryzen feature, AMD has long said that a related memory protection security memory encryption is available only in the Pro and CPU tiers. An OS managed using the single key and allowing the OS to selectively encrypt individual memories. For now, AMD has said nothing official. It has confirmed what happened, why it happened, whether anything actually changed, or what users of the consumer chips could now expect. Given the years of TSME quietly doing its job on these low-cost processors, the AMD engineers supposed own past comments treating it as it has supported. Users had everything reason to regard it as part of the package. What does the comment say here? We'll see. Comment. It is possible for someone to just mod around this to force enable it. Since the hardware is obviously capable of running it, it has until now, or does that risk breaking the CPU? It is possible for someone to just mod around this to force enable it. Just to say, on an older version of the Agisa, that's what dominance looks like, no matter who's on top. Bad form AMD, bad form indeed. Yeah. TSME isn't terribly useful on physical secure desktops, which is what most private PCs are. It's really designed to keep cloud administrators and hypervisor malware from accessing VM RAM content without the ability to manage per VM keys, which has been an exclusive since the start, requires the orchestration stack to operate. It doesn't provide significant value. I've disabled it since it's supposed to have at least some performance. I don't really know what the fuck all that means. Let's see here. It's late in the game. It just really begs the question, why? If an attacker has physical access to your device, you're already in trouble regardless. And that's true, yeah. So take it with a pinch of AI salt, as this is for those overpaid parasites and illegal. If you purchase AMD Ryzen CPU with the exception of utilizing transparent secure memory encryption, the subsequent firm update silently disabled that feature, doing so specifically to gatekeep it for more expensive product ranges. Likely constitutes a breach of UK consumer law. So is that what they're doing? Is they're doing that so you'll go and buy the more expensive Pro version? Because yeah, that would violate most law. No matter what the reason is, AMD's silence on the matter is an awful look. Yeah. I thought TSME also helped protect against low hammer type attacks. Well, I can tell you this. Keep an ear out for your AMD, and this is the Ryzen 9. It looks like it's not the Pro. Here we are. Here we go. Which one was it again? The Ryzen 7 9700X from the Zen 5 architect. That's the one that I guess look out for, and if that one's having all those issues, then it's guarantee it's carried over into the next generation, because I think they're already on like Ryzen 9 or something. I think they're even maybe higher than that, but so you'll hear about Ryzen 9 before too long, guarantee you. Anyway, like, subscribe, help me out. Appreciate you.